you know what I'll say? I don't doubt an NA team making it through. I think it's very possible, right? We've seen a lot of NA teams make it through, right? Like there's been some successful teams, and you know, not just any regular ordinary NA teams. We've seen some top NA players make their way in, right? We were just spectating Bizzle gliding through, right? Bizzle and Saf, the likes of Mars, Canada making it in. There's some top NA names here. My biggest issue is I don't see them having much success, even if they do make it to the finals. But it is possible, and I'd love to see it, right? If it could happen, it'd be really entertaining to watch.
This is going to be so hard for Bizzle to do this off ping as well. Bizzle and Saf only have 5 points. This is the semifinal, so they have plenty of games to work with. They don't have a set lobby, and that's going to be the end for this game, and they're going to have to re-queue up. But Manu and Gacheto have to feel really good taking out some of the NA East. At the same time, there's stories of redemption throughout the entire EU region. And one of those stories that we're going to keep an eye on is Kha'Zix and 4ZR. They did not really make it into the FNCS trios because they slipped up in the week 4 of qualifiers. They went down into the wildcard game, which was crazy Fnatic, and they did not make it. And so because of that, I think Kha'Zix and 4ZR, alongside with the Benji and Mr. Savage, who did not have a great performance as well, up to their standards in the FNCS trios, I think, honestly, we haven't made our picks yet. So while this battle happens here between Kezar, and he's going to have to do without the Neo in your box, I'm going to have to say, my pick to win the entire thing for the Dreamhack Duo Champions, it's going to be Benji and Mr. Savage. That is my pick, Levin. Lock it in.
Savage and Benji, that is a good pick. You know what I'm saying? It's a good pick. I think I'm going to have to go with Tayson and Thomas.
AC? Okay.
Yeah, Tayson and Thomas. They had a hot week, right? Coming in, they won the Amar Cup, you know, which was kind of the first kind of premiere look at any sort of duos, right? They did well yesterday in Heat 1. They did well. Started off slow, but started to pick things up towards the end. As Kez are going to finish off this fight here. Cleaning up the 2v1 actually as well, which is pretty impressive. Good way to start things off. He's going to get his teammate in a reboot now. It's going to be important to highlight that, you know, beyond fighting, who's actually able to, you know, find some form in the end game, because, you know, you can be as good as fighting all you want. Oh, what a snipe here. Mano. I say what a snipe. It messed up the shockwave there, but going to actually pick up the finish and now push onto this player. And in a 2v1 situation against the Sip Toss here as well is not looking likely that he survives. Able to get away for a second, really making it expensive, right? Forcing them to use a bouncer now, some more materials. He's burning out his shockwaves as well. So he's making this one expensive, but ultimately, I think it's just a ticking time bomb, if anything. I think he knows he's going down, and so trying to spend as much as possible before he actually does go down. He needs to close this one out quickly before he completely runs through everything he has and makes it pretty worthless.
I like what you said, expensive. And not only expensive in resources and loot, but expensive in time. And you're already seeing the other triangles kind of hear all this noise and now focusing and peeking in as much as possible. And I mean, you know what? These are the moments, you know, Marker is going to kind of hold on to this as much as possible, but Deceptos and Solari's Manuel are going to have to kind of wrap this up quickly, because the storm is going to come in about 15 seconds here. And that is those precious moments and a shockwave expense. So already, you talk about expensive, a second bouncer's used, and already Manuel and Deceptos have used 2 shockwaves and lost 2 other shockwaves in this engagement here, Levin. Absolutely. It's just like, you know, Texas Hold'em, man. You're going to want someone to work for all your all-in pot right there in this moment here. And now we're seeing a peek at Stark Industries. I did say at the opening of the show that for some reason Sweaty Sands and Steamy Stacks, that's where EU champions are born too. The solo champions were born in Steamy Stacks, but it was this place was the birthplace for Mongrel, Mitro, and Tayson to walk away with the FNCS Trio Championship. A strong performance, and of course, Mongrel and Mitro are duoing it up. And we just saw Deceptos, who their trio mates of Hen and Patrick, are now finding different duo mates. So that's what's really exciting. As you've seen, there's one build knocked out by that truck. That was very anticlimactic, but the chaos is still unfolding here. And let's just make sure to kind of wrap this up quickly and not have another, 180 to the dome wraps it up. And as in the replay, we see Aziz together with Scepter fights inside the storm and claims 2 elims. And so that was earlier in this game. So the action is happening here in this opening game for the semifinals here at Dreamhack featuring Fortnite. eat those like really low placements, so to speak. So we're gonna see how all that unfolds here. But Omega and Lucio doing really well with the double beams, picking up Dennis there in the elim. Nice 5 points right there, and that's the first ones for this semifinals. And taking a look at the in game as we're getting closer to that fourth circle, it's gonna be a very kind of close to a pure Fortnite ending. Not a lot of huge mountains or any kind of crazy lake or extreme cliff drops, anything like that in Stark. It's gonna be a pretty basic Fortnite ending here going forward. But I'm taking a look at people's kits, Levin. Not a lot of strong kits, and that's just to show you sometimes the disparity of landing in the POI and taking the scavenger route.
Yeah, definitely something that, you know, people have to put some thought into now with the way duos are this season. And, you know, we always have to remember, as much as, you know, there is a meta to adjust to for duos this season, you know, things will be changing potentially drastically relatively soon. But regardless, into this lobby we go, and into high ground we go. The battle for height will be interesting, right? We already see some teams trying to posture towards it. Everybody gathered up on that northern side of the zone, and you can see some interesting max distance pulls if it does pull that way. Maybe the zone will favor the majority of the players. We see a player going down here in front of us, Kaizen.
Slowly gonna go ahead and try to build up for height at this opportunity here. Now they elect to go for second. Now, we always know the great beauty of it all. Low ground, mid ground, and heights. Those are going to be the layers in the 200 pump. Anti-U gets bot from Wings, and that's going to be a strong start for this in-game start for Wings. And as we're going to wait for everything to catch up here, we have a brief moment as more elims are popping out. Storm Surge is active. Now 13 players have to go down, and that is going to be a yikes for Ziku and Kaizen. There are 231 below. They have a decent tarp here, but they have to work fast. And this is where things get scary, considering that there are 243 below Storm Surge here, Levin.
Yeah, and you see here, players sort of scrambling around all around the area. The Siptos here and Floki. The Siptos going down, and he's going to be taken out for the rest of the game. Floki was able to slip away, but now left alone to fight off for himself. And that's going to be the story for a lot of these players, right? Getting separated from their duos for just a moment. And once you go down, and Kaizen going down now. And just what we saw happen earlier, happening again now to this duo. Kaizen's not going to be able to get picked up, so this duo left defender for himself. Rotations coming in, and in a lobby full of duos, there's so many solos left alive.
And now Storm Surge has been turned off, so now everyone has an opportunity here. It's all going to be clean Fortnite the rest of the ride here. And as you see in the chaos, Ziku, these are the points that matter the most when you have zero business of surviving as a solo. The great news is he does have a epic shotgun, but he gets hit right in the back. The crack in the back is going to cause some chaos as Ziku now has to retreat down to the low ground. And that is where a lot of chaos, a lot of mud's going to be slain. Taking a look at your left side, you got Phantom and Yargro sitting at height looking great, and the Storm is pulling back, so that's going to be a strong opportunity to maintain that height. We're going to keep up with Ziku on the low ground. He has the floppers, he's looking good, he's going to have an opportunity. Yes, gets another elim and that siphon. Oh my goodness, but gets bopped with mouthful of fish.
Yeah, and now look, if you look up above height, Phantom and Kyugro, they're sitting together, sitting strong, and it doesn't even look like anyone's trying to contest them. But over here on low ground, you see so many players left alive. Lucia, who we were watching earlier, gonna get the big put off and try to regroup with his teammate now. And if these two can stay together, rotating on this far side of the zone, they have a good chance of racking up even more placement points than they already have. It's gonna be a matter of actually breaking through all these old builds now and hoping they don't run into anybody's box. Trying to control as much edits as possible. A fire truck going down, I don't know if that was a misplace, but still able to avoid so many people just staying alive longer and longer as Phantom and Kyugro still stay on height. It seems like the lobby is just frozen at the moment. Nobody really making any sort of moves, any sort of plays. I spoke too soon because Lucia picks up one and they pick up an unsuspecting player on the low ground, and now so many players left off to fight in between them.
Lucia, Omega are really working well on the low ground. We've seen an appearance of the Bandage Bazooka, giving them that extra heals as they're making their way. Lucia picks up an elim, 79 points so far, 6 elims for the low ground. Phantom goes down at height. So now it's a 2v1 situation for the first game we're watching right here at the Dreamhack Open for the semifinals. Cayugo, the Lone Ranger, going against Omega and Lucia, and Omega and Lucia have all priority in the storm. It's going to be a 1 bump and it's over going for Cayugo, but Omega actually goes down. It's a 1v1 and that is not enough. Lucia holding on with the Bandage Bazooka, getting our first victory out on the Dreamhack broadcast, Levin. I agree.
Even going all the way down to 10th place there, you got Janice and Reason, the players that just got their Victory Royale. Lucia and Omega are currently sitting in 16th place, and all the way down into some of the biggest names, Sancho.
Yeah, and Kelly, it's only the top 50 advance to the grand finals.